This is a very interesting one. I'm sure that's, I mean, quite literally is going to affect all of us. Let's put this up there on the screen. Is your driving being secretly scored? The insurance industry, quote, hungry for insights into how people drive, has turned to automakers and smartphone apps like Life 360. So it says, quote, you know you have a credit score, but did you know that you might also have a driver's score? A driver's score reflects how many times you slam on the brakes, how much you speed, how much you look at your phone, how much you drive late at night. Then that driver's score is then being bought and used by auto insurance companies to variably adjust your auto insurance rates. It says, correctly, for the last 2 decades, auto insurers have been trying to get people to enroll in these programs that they monitor their day-to-day driving. They say so that the rates can better reflect their actual risk. But you could flip it around and say so that the rates can also variably spike whenever we see you doing something quote unquote risky. Well, why is that bad? Because it is a complete invasion of privacy that uses not only the vehicle, but your phone to gauge all of the details of your everyday life. It is also, frankly, not really fair. I've been thinking about this because I drive in rush hour traffic here. Well, if I slam on the brakes because somebody's an idiot in front of me, I'm getting penalized. And it's not my fault, you know, that people drive here in bumper to bumper. And by the way, if you're not bumper to bumper, you're just gonna get cut off and then you're the sucker who's in the drive. So my point is just that there are so many perverse incentives and different ways where this could spike insurance rates for some consumers. Others who maybe have a different commute would be paying less. It would basically put the burden on, you know, let's say people who have to drive in rush hour traffic and they would have to pay much more, even though they're the ones who are, you know, frankly spending more time on the road, et cetera. It's just one of those where the privacy element of it shows what the invasion looks like. And I would be remiss if I didn't say also that this comes just, we're taping this segment the very day after that Apple announces this major integration with OpenAI and with ChatGPT. So now, you know, at the OS level, your data is hardwired into a large language model where what, you think that, you know, all of the Geico and all these other companies aren't gonna be then using that to churn even more and create predictive models of your driving so they can variably adjust? Right. I mean, you can just see what the future here looks like, where they're gonna squeeze every single dollar that they have out of you.
And really, in some ways, the most disturbing part is people have no idea.
They don't even know.
I didn't know this was happening. You download an app like Gas Buddy is the one that's mentioned here, which helps you, like, I guess, be more fuel
efficient. Gas Buddy's a cool app, actually. Well, it used to be a cool app. No, I'm not gonna be using it anymore.
Now you need to read the disclosures very carefully because, the apps that are on your phone and your car itself is snitching to your car insurance company and selling your data about, and I'm talking about down to the minute, like second by second diary of what you are doing in the car. One individual who sort of went on this quest to find out what they knew about him was ultimately able to obtain his driver score and all of the information that had been sold to these car insurance companies. He said there was a Microsoft Excel file with time-stamped lists of his every offending event and the latitude and longitude for where they occurred. In the speeding tab, for example, there were more than 200 second-by-second entries for the handful of drives during which this individual, Mr. Lethern, had exceeded 85 miles per hour. Like, they are tracking you second by second. Where your eyes are, how often you're on the phone, whether you put the brake on a little too hard, whether you accelerated a little too fast. Like, I think people will be horrified to know that you feel like when you're in your car, you feel like you're kind of in, like you're in your space.
I mean, it's supposedly your property, but
you're in your property, you're in your space. Like you feel like this is a, you know, obviously there's people who can see in the window, but you feel like this is like a private space. You have no awareness that everything you're doing in there is being tracked. And GM actually, we can put this next one up on the screen because New York Times had done some reporting on this previously. GM had made a deal with LexisNexis where they were sending, you know, with these digital dashboards, they're tracking everything that you're doing in the car, and they were selling it to LexisNexis, which was selling it to the car insurance companies. Now, I think after this report and backlash, they stopped with this deal. But this is where we're at. cars have so much digital technology in them now. They're integrated with your smartphones, especially through Apple CarPlay. Could actually put this next piece up on the screen because this was something that Matt Stoller revealed to us in the context of the Apple anti-competitive DOJ suit. So CarPlay, Apple wants to take over like your entire dashboard through CarPlay. And the thing is, for automakers, CarPlay has become very popular. People really demand it in their vehicles. The only major automaker that doesn't include it, I believe, is GM at this point because they want to be able to gather your data themselves, I guess, and sell it off. They don't want Apple to be able to sell off your data. But so you have this full integration of everything you're doing in the car being tracked and exploited. And I just think people are completely oblivious to any of this that's going on.
Oh, absolutely. I was looking for while you were talking.
Yeah.
On Tesla, they used to have this thing called a safety score, which is exactly what you're talking about. And it would measure hard braking. I actually opted out of it because they were using it as part of quote unquote real-time insurance, which exactly uses your safety score for. And I was like, well, it's not fair, because you drive so DC and Maryland, there's a whole meme in the DC community about quote unquote Maryland drivers. And if somebody cuts you off and you're constantly like in this battle and war against all of these other idiots that are on the road, you're being penalized in real time as a result of other people's bad driving.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, and that's really what I mean about the weird and the perverse incentives and about the way that this could all be applied. So, I mean, the real TLDR on this is that when we think about the phone and then the car, and as it fuses together, your phone already has a compass, an accelerometer, everything. But they don't even need the car, honestly, at this point. And then we've combined with a large data model. It knows everything about your driving already if it wants to. And then all it takes is a few B2B deals between Geico and something else. How many people really paying attention every time they hit allow on their iPhone?
Of course. Yeah, because that's what they would, oh, well, technically we asked you whether you wanted this or not. You read through the 80-page disclaimer, consent form that you have to sign when you get this app, or whatever. Nobody does.
Also, people are terrible judges of their own driving. And there's a lot of data to support this in terms of overall survey as opposed to how they actually drive. Well, what is Geico going to tell you, or whomever? This is going to help you because you're a good driver, right?
Right.
And you'd be like, yeah, I'm a great driver. Boom. Next thing you know, you almost get into a crash and someone cuts you off and your insurance premium goes up by $10 a month. And also, I don't know if everybody knows this, car insurance is up by, I think, 40% year over year.
Yeah, that's
car insurance is totally out of control. So much so that, I monitor my charges very religiously. And I was like, what the hell is going on over here? And I looked into it and I was like, oh, it's not just me, it's the entire country. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. They claim that it's outside of their control. When somebody jacks your price up by 40% over a single year, you should probably, think about why exactly that is. But the point here is just that technology, and it's not just in insurance, by the way, this is the whole economy. I just saw a story yesterday about Uber. Uber will actually increase the price of your ride if your phone battery is very low because they know you're desperate. You're like, you've got to get home because your phone is going to die. Yeah. I mean, in a way, it's genius, right? You're like, well, it's true. I'll probably be willing to hit 40% more if my phone's at 5% because I'm screwed if I can't get home. But that's pretty bad, isn't it? There's a lot of variable pricing in Uber Eats as well. Uber Eats, McDonald's. Yeah. McDonald's is making a killing through Uber Eats because their stuff is cheap if you're willing to go to the store. When you're drunk at 2:30 in the morning, people are going to pay a lot for McDonald's. They're paying like primo prices or for Taco Bell or for any of these. And Uber Eats knows that. So they use a variable price. The driver usually doesn't get nearly as much. And these people are walking away with billions and billions of dollars.
This is what they're using AI for, people.
Yeah,
not to benefit humanity, but to price gouge you to the greatest possible degree. Seriously. I mean, there's whole companies that are spun up now to do the variable pricing you're talking about, exploiting whatever data they get. The phone battery thing is crazy. Yep. They'll use whatever info they can to figure out how desperate you are for this particular product and how willing and able you are to pay for this particular product. And they'll just turn the dial up, squeeze you for every bit that you're possibly worth using AI to fine tune the art of price gouging. What a world.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show, ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.